Today I'd like to talk about liking mistakes, and this topic really came about from an incident with my daughter, and I believe she was like youngest daughter. She was 8 years old, my youngest daughter, Rowan, and I was just thinking about making pots, and I've been making pots for so many years, and I was wondering, do they have any relevance? And I was thinking, well, God, we've grown up only using handmade pots. So I just asked her, Rowan, what's it like using handmade pots on a day-to-day basis and eating out of them and so forth? And she paused for a minute, and then she just said, Dad, you know, I really like the mistakes. And I was sort of taken back by her response. She liked the mistakes. So it made me think much more about the pots in terms of all the variations and marks and sort of it's a conglomerate of all the elements that go into making a pot. And, you know, it reminded me of the late writer and woodworker David Pye. And he said, yeah, people that make things with their hands, it's the craftsmanship of risk. And we really don't know when we make something with our hands what our hands are going to do, because it's like life itself. Our relationships are messy, and there's a degree of unpredictability about it. And this particular cup here, I remember very vividly when I was buying this cup. It was in the artist's studio, and most of the cups did not have this little blue speck here. And I was very intrigued by that blue speck, and my eye was drawn to it. It's sort of off-center. And I asked the artist, I said, did you intend for this blue speck to be here? And he said, no, it was a complete accident. And I bought this cup because of that accident, because it somehow was humanizing in some way. It was unpredictable. I didn't know if it was there or not. And I have to say, I sometimes think about things and how they're all interconnected in sort of this butterfly theory. And I think about teaching at the university, I think about the students, I think about the staff, administrators. We're all getting evaluated in some way. And we all have our annual reviews. And there's this sea of measuring and quantifying and trying to, in many ways, validate ourselves. But life is so much more than that. So my life is about feelings and emotions and how we connect with one another. And I'll never forget a moment in a class with a group of students. And I would say once a semester I just do a check-in. And I was asking a group of students how they were doing. And when it came to about the third or fourth student, and his name was Taylor Watkins, and I asked him how things were going. And he said, not very good. He said, I just transferred here to Penn State. He said, my girlfriend just broke up with me, and I'm feeling incredibly lonely. I don't have any friends here. And I think everyone in the class was struck by this. And very rarely does anyone speak this way in a class. And there was this awkward silence, and honestly, I didn't know what to say, and no one was saying anything. And I'll never forget, a student named Jennifer Diggs said, Taylor, I'll be your friend. And there was this weight that was released, and I could tell everyone in the class was grateful that Jennifer said this. And so I would just say that for us, in some small way, you know, all the cups and all the pots have a story. They're more than just objects. They've been touched by the people that made them, and obviously in some way they have touched our lives by using them every day. So thanks for your time. So
That was good.
that ought to be enough, I think. Yeah. Is that any other thing? Anything else?
I thought that was more than enough. That was great.